back in the day, there was racism all over the place. When we had people do our lawns, when we were in the weight room, even when we played games. Fights broke out frequently. But now things have changed. We're becoming more equal. We elected our first African American president. The percentage of minorities in higher education has increased dramatically. And now we can skip through the halls as we please. But some people still think differently.
Yes.
Yes. Pass it over.
Yes.
In your life?
You can go first. Yeah. I have as well. I've seen it.
Yeah, I actually saw a couple kids out yesterday that were getting ready for my daughter's birthday party, and they were using some racial slurs. They were heading to the skate park, and they came down, and they were actually students here, and were using like racial slurs, and I had to tell them to knock it off.
Recently, no. Sometimes things look like racism, but sometimes there's underlying personal things going on there that aren't necessarily related to race. So my sense is that no, I've not seen it recently.
So there was this Caucasian and an Asian, and you called him a derogatory term.
Well, I went to college in the South, and there was certainly some racism that took place on campus to a degree. And at that time, the Ku Klux Klan was doing a rally in Atlanta, and I went to school in Atlanta, and so I witnessed that.
Personally, when I was in a predominantly black neighborhood in Miami, and I was verbally abused for being white. My family in England, my sister is married to a Nigerian, and so she has mixed race children, and they often share their experiences that are tainted with racism in London.
Over the last 30 years, the percentage of minorities has dramatically increased in the U.S., and we have now become a more diverse society. But some believe that racism is still an issue.
Because certain people are less educated than others and don't think that all people are equal.
Yes. Because too many people think that they're better than other races, so they seem to make other people feel down. Other people that are like different races and cultures.
Yeah, ever since the Ferguson thing, it's been acting up like crazy.
United States?
Yeah.
I do too. Go Cal.
People are mistreated because of their race.
I'll try to make a sign like, do you want me to
I don't
people
think
for one thing?
it's shown in public.
don't think it's as bad as it used to be. I mean, it's gotten a lot better. There's still like terms being used, but it doesn't seem to be as bad as it was.
Do you think racism is an active problem in the United States?
Yes.
Yeah, I certainly don't think it's gone. I think it exists in many different forms, so yeah, I would say it's an active problem.
Why do you think it still exists today?
Because racism comes in so many different forms. I think that people are still threatened by people who are different than themselves. I think that people don't view everyone the same. I think that there's that need for people to somehow feel superior to other groups, and whatever's driving that perpetuates that feeling of racism.
I think that it is an active problem in the United States. The degree of problem, we're not talking about the 1960s. You know, we're not talking about civil rights movement. We're not talking about Civil Rights Act and Voting Rights Act and those kind of things. It does exist. You know, you just need to walk through the halls, of the school, and you could find it. It's not hard, but it's not what it was either. I think that as a society we are evolving. I think that we are becoming more aware, and the politically correct thing is to not be racist anymore. And so racism does still exist, but it's not where it was 50 years ago. It is a process. Eliminating those ideas is a process.
I think racism is a problem and has been since really the founding of the United States because of plantation slavery. I think race has a particular history in the United States. And I think if we're going to talk about race, we have to acknowledge that history. Because out of the development of plantation slavery, you get this kind of framework of logic. It's philosophers call it a discourse. And you start understanding things or explaining things based upon the color of people's skin. So, for instance, if you're talking about violence against young black men today by police, you're talking primarily about poor black men. But instead of talking about it in terms of class, we use in the discourse of race.
Although many people still say that racism exists in the United States, when we ask them to compare it to the civil rights movement, perspectives changed.
No.
Can you elaborate?
Yes. There's a lot more like laws and stuff in place about it, so like there's harder consequences now. So that's why I don't think people act out against racism.
No and yes. I mean, law-wise, no, but like still, people are still racist. So, but just like it's not segregated anymore. It's the only difference, really.
No, it's not. It's gotten better. We had more equality, but there's still some problems.
Not as openly. No, I don't. I mean, I like to believe that we've gotten better over time. However, I don't live it every day. So.
No, I don't, because I think that we've got a much larger black middle class in America, and a middle class community by definition is an educated community. And so that educated community is able to push back against racism probably more thoroughly than in previous decades.
There's a lot of people that kind of think about it. I think just in general, if you're going to throw out a general term, you talk about ignorance. There are certain areas of the world where they don't have as much access to people that are different cultures, different beliefs, different ideas, different skin tones. Those kind of ideas floated around in that area because there wasn't a whole lot of diversity. And so I think it's kind of important to see and to recognize that is still there. So ignorance is a big part of it.
And do you think racism is at the degree it was prior to the civil rights movement?
No, it's gotten better. It's not completely fixed, but it's definitely better. It's not a lot better. A whole lot better. Thank you.